This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Happy Black Friday, kickoff to the holiday season, officially, unofficially, however you want to look at it. Mark and Charity
Now be
Coffee
careful
Podcast.
because some are going to be upset by that.
That I've sort of made.
That you've put them together.
Black Friday
Shopping is the kickoff to the holiday season.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not sure there's any way of saying any of that.
I know.
Without somebody saying, hey.
I know.
What do you got
it's
against?
The holiday season.
What do you do? But right on. I know you love it, right?
Oh, I do.
know you love it.
We started playing Christmas music this morning.
Well, it's Black Friday, right?
Yes.
So, and in some ways, I guess it's because I am of an advanced age, and it just seems to get here faster every year. But I hear it, and it doesn't sound bizarre to me. It's like, oh yeah,
Black Friday, you mean, or the Christmas music?
It's Christmas music.
See, to me, last weekend was the kickoff.
Okay,
because the Santa Claus Parade, Festival of Lights.
Yep.
Today's just the day after the American Thanksgiving. This is the holiday shopping season kicks off.
Right.
This
but
weekend.
The holiday season is up and running for you already.
It's been up and running for a while.
It has been.
The biggest shopping day of the year.
Today. If you took part or if you're in retail, we got your back. It's Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast. Always brought to you by our friends in Trenton at Simple Desk.
Simple Desk in Trenton is your ultimate destination to streamline, market, and strengthen your business's brand. Jenny, the visionary behind Simple Desk, took her commitment to business support a step further by creating BRAZEN, an event for women who dare. After the event sellout in 2023, get ready for an even bigger and bolder BRAZEN 2024. The full-day experiential event is packed with networking, vendor booths, exciting giveaways, delicious food, and a speakers panel of incredible female entrepreneurs sharing their inspiring stories. Don't miss out on BRAZEN 2024. Mark your calendars for May 31st. Tickets go on sale November 1st. For all the details, visit simpledesk.ca/BRAZEN and be sure to follow BRAZEN on Instagram at BRAZEN Events 1.
Funny you mention that because I got a text from my daughter not 15 minutes before. We're going to go see her tonight. I'm going to talk about that. Can I talk about, in fact,
sure
I'm going to Toronto, what I'm going to do tonight?
Yeah.
So she said, I know what I get, Mom. I know what I got, Andrew. She says, what do you want? You're always the hardest person to get.
Today's not?
Just, she
your
texted
Christmas
me today.
gift?
No.
Okay.
Well, no,
I thought what you were doing today was.
Today is my Father's Day gift.
Oh.
I'm trying to think of the last time I've seen my daughter.
Okay.
I don't think I've seen her in months. It's crazy. She lives in Toronto. It was like,
okay, so this is your Father's Day gift.
This is my Father's Day gift.
You went to
tonight.
the ball game in July. You saw her in July.
That was April, but good try.
I thought that was July.
That was April.
All right,
and I know that because I plotted a book on my way home that became my third book. Anyway.
All right, back to.
Okay, so I know when that was.
She knows what she's getting you now, or she was asking you what you wanted?
She has no idea.
Okay.
And I sent back the extremely helpful line, say it with me, dads, what I want, you can't buy me. Always very helpful. Mm-hmm. And she's like, thanks, Dad. So she'll figure it out.
Zero help. But she's like you. She's a good gift giver.
She is.
Yeah.
And I sent back, you love Christmas. So when we talk about you and the Christmas season, and you and my daughter could sit down over a hot chocolate and talk Christmas for hours.
I love Christmas.
She loves shopping at Christmas. She is a gift giver.
It's not the shopping I love. It's it's the music, it's the decorating, it's the feeling. This time of year more than anything. I hate shopping. Shopping does stress me out.
Yeah?
It does. Okay. Today, I want no part of it.
No, I love it.
No, I will glance online a little bit to see, okay, maybe there's something I could get for a ridiculously low price, but I will not go out of my way to shop this weekend. Because I don't like crowds. I don't.
Yeah.
And I get very frustrated unless it's something, and I've said this to you before, with anything, when I do go shopping, regardless of the time of year, I go when I know what I want.
Mm-hmm. You don't.
And that's what I go for.
You don't go to shop, you go to buy.
No.
That's
exactly.
the difference.
It is, very much. And that's what they say most people need to do, especially this weekend. Don't, go with a budget. Go with a list of what you want. Don't overspend. Don't be pulled in by the trigger words that we talked about this morning. Stay focused because it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
And you start buying on impulse and it can turn very, very wrong.
We had a listener, too, send in a text when we were done talking about it that said, use cash.
Yeah.
That's a good way, too, because
then you don't overspend.
If you say, okay,
leave the credit card at home.
I want to spend $300 or $400 on Black Friday fine. Take $400 out of the bank and pay cash. And then when you know, it's like, oh, I got $31 left. Buy yourself some lunch and go home. Good work. And then you know how much you spend. You're still helping locally. Everybody's happy. Really, because
I am guilty of the impulse buy.
Yeah.
100%.
Jen and I out there, we were talking about it, you know. Credit cards call you up this time of year, right?
Exactly.
I just raise your credit limit. Happy to.
That sounds great until you get the bill. But I did. I saw something for Ben this week. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's only $20.
Yeah.
And you say that, but then you see something else, and it's only $25. And you see something else, and it's on sale for $40, regularly $80. How do I not buy it? And it creeps up, right? So you gotta be strong, people. You gotta think about things. Be mindful.
That's why I wonder, people, when they say in October, I'm done my Christmas shopping. How do you do that?
I know.
Like, how do you know? How do you know you're done? That's my point.
Well, and something always comes along.
And if you're such an extended family, or that's the tradition is everybody gets one big gift, then you're quote unquote done. Then you just got to wait for Santa to knock the stocking stuff off, or maybe that's looked after. I don't know what your traditions are. So when people say I'm done, are you really done? Like, how do you? Same thing we talk about. You know, men don't shop, men buy. Like, I don't go out to shop. I wait until I know what I want, then I go out and I buy it. That's all I do. There's no spending 4 hours walking around. Unless I can't find it where I expect to find it, then I got to go somewhere else. And I'm happy to do it. And I don't like crowds until the holiday season. And for whatever reason, I love them.
Right. Yes.
Remember I told you that before? And you looked at me weird. You're like, I've been at hockey arenas with you, and all you do is bitch about how many people are around in the hallways and getting in my space. I know. Until the lights and the music's on. Then it's like, load
And that
them up.
is nice. As you were talking, I was thinking, you know what? I would walk around the mall if I wasn't shopping.
Right.
Just to enjoy that feeling.
And the atmosphere.
Exactly. Because the hustle and bustle, there is something nice when the Christmas music's playing above you. And as I shared this week, the holiday train's up at the mall now too.
Right. Yeah.
So to sit there and watch kids, take my own kids, myself, just sit there and enjoy just being there in that atmosphere. Absolutely. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that.
That nostalgia sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
That's great.
It just makes you feel good.
So if you're working retail, I know here we go.
Thank you.
It's been hard for a while now. It's been busy. Thank you so much.
And if you're going today, remember the retail workers. Remember how the hours they've put in to prepare for this weekend and the hours they're putting in today. Be patient. Be kind. If you have to wait in line, just wait in line. You'll be through. Don't worry.
Tomorrow is Small Local Shop Saturday. What do they call that?
Small business?
Small business
Local
Saturday.
business?
Yeah.
Small business? So
remember that when you're out and about. And then Cyber Monday, and then Giving Tuesday.
And we have a lot coming up for Giving Tuesday.
Our podcast on Tuesday is going to be a long one. I'm happy to report.
Yes.
We'll have a lot of people on it.
Absolutely.
In a lot of ways, organizations are encouraging you to give back, including one organization we're going to talk to. There's a philanthropist here in Belleville who is going to match dollar for dollar on Giving Tuesday. So think about that. So if maybe that charity was going to make, I don't know, $8,000 or $10,000, they're going to say, fine, I'll write a check for $8,000 or $10,000. Well, that'll probably encourage people to say, well, I'm happy to give a little bit more, or I wasn't going to give, maybe I will, $20, $50.
And remember, every little bit counts.
Absolutely.
Too. It's wonderful that this individual can do that.
That's right.
It's great.
Yeah.
Not everybody can, of course. So every little bit helps, giving back to these organizations and just giving to your neighbor too. If there's something nice you can do for each other, that's nice too. It's that time of year, right? So keep that in mind.
Christmas sharing, food banks, lots of ways to give back, and we're going to highlight that next week. But no, tonight I'm off to Toronto because I found out that my daughter, and it was supposed to be a surprise, so
Father's Day for next year? Or
this past year. I haven't even seen her since Father's Day.
Okay, she didn't tell you though then?
No,
that she
was keeping it a surprise because she wanted it to be able, and then she never came home. We had about 3 or 4 different times we were going to come home, and it didn't work out. Either we were busy or we were going to go, or then she went for a month to like Turkey or something. I don't know. She went out for a while on vacation, and So, somebody's taken over the on-air screen.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we haven't, and she wanted to tell me to my face because she wanted that reaction. And then I mentioned.
She finally just decided, you know what? Yeah, okay, here you go, Dad.
No, I was supposed to go get that oral surgery done today on my face.
Oh.
Remember my tooth? And so then Mom said, we can't do this that day because Dad's got an appointment. It's like, she can't. So you got to tell him he's got to cancel because I've got tickets for that night. Because, anyway, so I'm going to see To Kill a Mockingbird on stage in Toronto.
Oh, my gosh.
Which is my favorite book and my favorite movie. And I was thrilled to hear that. She was only able to get 2 tickets, so it's a date for Kath and I. And so she said she'll try and get a rush ticket today. She texted me. That's why I was texting her before the podcast.
Did she get one?
Sold out. Oh. Can't get it. But she says, I'm just happy for you two to go.
It's a huge show.
Yeah, and it's only there for so many dates.
Yes.
So I thought, and this is the Broadway cast traveling. So I said, well, who plays Atticus Finch? Because I know Jeff Daniels did for the longest time, but he isn't this time. So I thought, I'll look it up who it is. It's Richard Thomas, who played John Boy on The Waltons years ago.
I always remember him from It. The production from the 80s.
And recently, he played Laura Linney's dad on Ozark.
That's right.
The last season.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
He's amazing. Like, he's such a great actor, and he's playing Atticus Finch tonight.
Mark.
So it's like, I am really, really pumped. I already told my wife, when the door closes and Boo Radley's behind the door, and Scout says, "Hey, Boo," he almost cried there, and I start crying. No pictures. Nobody takes a picture of the old guy.
I'm going to message her and say, take a picture.
Bawling his eyes out at that scene, because that's my favorite scene. That coming-of-age moment when you didn't know who your guardian angel was, the one you were afraid of the whole movie. And then you actually meet them and realize I saved your life. And it's like, so good. So good. So I can't wait for it. That's going to be great.
I got to reread it.
Yeah.
Because you talk about To Kill a Mockingbird, and I've read it.
Yeah.
But you make reference to it. I'm like, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I got to reread it. You gave a copy to Nathan, which was incredibly thoughtful of you for his birthday last year. He's 12 years old.
That's about the time.
He has yet to read it, but it's sitting on, I'm not lying, it is sitting on his nightstand.
Yeah.
And he's like, Mom, I know I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. I said, that's fine. I said, you read it when you want to read it. When you feel like you want to read it, that's what it's there for. That's why Mark gave it to you.
Yeah.
But now that I know it's there, I might steal it from him and read it
Here's
myself.
the magical thing about that book, to me, is I read it in grade 7, so I think I was probably 12.
Nathan's age, yeah.
And loved it. And then I started thinking about it, and when I was doing mornings in Stratford, which would have been 10, 12, 15 years later, we were doing some sort of speeches or writing for a literacy day at a high school. So I said, I always liked it. So I went back and I chose part of Atticus Finch's summation to the jury about the importance of justice and everything.
Part of his monologue?
Right.
Yeah.
And so I read that and was so taken by it again that I went back and read the book again. And I read it on a whole different level. So then I read it, I read it again about 10 years ago. Whole other level again. Yep. So it's amazing how you can read it 3 times and you've read the book and it feels fresh. Like, I know what's going to happen, but the things in it that I understand and grow
older, and have lived life and can relate, you see things different. Certainly, and I've said that about a few books. I wish I paid more attention in school, in high. Like, I wish I'd made more of an effort because it was completely lost on me. We're reading these incredible pieces of art, these works, and the passion the teachers have for it, you're like, okay, whatever. Yeah. You read it, you're like, yeah, you do the reports, you do the presentations, and later in life, you're like, yeah, I read that. That was really good. I appreciate, but you don't have the appreciation for it until you're older. And there's been a few books that I look back on and I'm like, oh, I should really read that again. Yeah. Because I wonder, number one, if it would hit me the same or what I would feel about it now. Yeah. And I'm afraid, actually, to read Othello, because in school we read Othello, and that, to me, I love much more than, say, Romeo and Juliet. That, to me, hit me really hard, Othello. Yeah. And even now, thinking about it, I get that gut-wrenching feeling in the pit of my stomach. I'm afraid to reread it, because I don't want it to change. I don't want that feeling to go away, either. Right. Like, you want to talk about, we think gaslighting is new in our society. No. That's what Othello was all about. Oh, it was just, I'm going to lie to you and make you believe it. I'm going to show you quote unquote proof, but I'm going to spin the proof around. That was Othello.
Like, you think this stuff is new? That was 600 years ago.
It's heartbreaking. Like, that was heart-wrenching to me.
I've seen
like
that
I said,
play.
more so than Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
But then reading that later, too, I had more of a reaction to later than when I was in school. But Othello, too. Now I got to go back and read that.
I saw that on stage in Stratford. It was amazing.
That would be incredible.
The guy that played Iago.
Oh, Iago.
Oh,
my gosh.
Backstabbing. You son of a bitch.
Horrible
And he's a great actor. Scott Wentworth, if you ever look him up, he was one of the top actors at that time when I was there. And he would go maybe in another play. He's the singing sailor in the, Rodgers and Hammerstein play. And then the next night he's Iago.
And you just
so talented. You love singing along on Tuesday, and on Wednesday you just want to beat them up in a back alley.
You want to talk about iconic villains? Like he was bad.
Yeah.
Now I have to go back and read To Kill a Mockingbird, though, and I will. I'm going to get that copy you gave Nathan, and I'm going to read it in the next couple of weeks. I just remembered Scott Wentworth, and this means absolutely nothing in a podcast. But one of the things that he did was at the end of a scene when he had done one of his performances, he would turn to the audience and crook his neck. He would look at the audience, he'd do this, and then walk away like, Yeah.
I got away with it. Like he would just make
acknowledging it to the audience, being like,
smug. Like a little, what do you think of that? What are you going to do about it? And walk away. And it was just like, oh my God, such great and again, that's great direction too, to recognize, you know what, just give them a little bit before you leave the stage, just to drive home that everybody knows but Othello, what's going on, and drive that home, that he is alone. Oh, it's just, such phenomenal stuff. But anyway, so I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be incredible.
Yeah.
Good for you. I'm excited to hear about it. And I hope, and I will hear about it because tomorrow night we'll be heading out with Operation Red Nose.
Yep, looking forward to that very much. Talking to Rick Watts about all of the great sponsors from McDougall Insurance and Joe Chinook, who owns the building where he just lets us use the building.
Yep.
Guys, just go ahead and do it. McDougall Insurance provides the insurance for all the drivers throughout the entire program in Ontario.
Makes it possible for them to drive the vehicles in their own and get these guys home safely.
All that good stuff at Trenton Cold Storage. I've got a full list, and all of those that provide goods and services and cash to make sure it works out. Doesn't happen if we get everybody on the way home. And so we'll give the final thought to Belleville Police Chief Mike Callahan. We were talking to him this morning about the importance of Operation Red Nose to this community, and is it actually a good thing that we have it? And here's what he had to say. For similar cities our size that don't have something like an Operation Red Nose, do you find that incidents with drinking and driving, whether it's warnings or arrests or actual accidents, are lower in our community? Like, is there a direct result of having a program like that?
Unequivocally. I would have a tough time kind of looking up the stats because the federal stats on impaired driving don't boil down to, we'll say, seasonal or over the Christmas season, but they do give an overall. But I can tell you from having been in Ottawa and having coming here and seeing the robust Operation Red Nose that we have here, exponentially it saves lives. And I said that day. The work that these folks are doing is saving lives. There's a direct correlation to the volunteerism that they're doing to keeping our roadway safe, and we just can't thank the volunteers enough for that.
So that's the thing. It's not only are the people getting home safely, free if they want, donation if they want, we're all benefiting by not having impaired drivers on the road. Period.
Keeps everybody safer this holiday season.
Police chief's got the stats to back it up. They love it.
It's been proven.
And Rick says when there are ride programs and Operation Red Nose volunteers come up,
you got
they
the vest
see
on.
The red vest, and I wave them through.
Yep, you guys go ahead.
They know. So
getting people home safely. And
great.
That's all law enforcement wants. They just want you to get home safely.
Yeah, that's our Christmas gift to you from the volunteers to make sure that your family is intact for the holiday season. And that's tremendous. So it kicks off tonight and tomorrow, and then Fridays and Saturdays right up until New Year's Eve, New Year's Day.
So keep the number handy, 613-962-4334, 962-4334, Operation Red Nose this holiday season.
Get that in your phones. Perhaps we will be seeing you tomorrow night. It kicks off tonight with the volunteers. Thank you very much. Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast. Have a great weekend. We're back at it on Cyber Monday and Giving Tuesday next week on 95.5 Hits FM.